Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Talk Your Tail Off podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, more commonly known as Girl with the Dogs. And for today's episode, we're going to be diving into natural solutions for your pet. But before we get started, I'd love to encourage you all to join this community by hitting that subscribe button. And if you're interested in the pet grooming products that I know and love, you can check out my website, girlwiththedogs.com, and use code TALKTAIL for 10% off your first order. Now let's dive in to today's episode.
Oh, you smell a little bit.
He always smells.
Poor Smellin'. That's why I call him Smelly Melly.
Smells like asshole.
Today's guest is my good friend SARA, and of course my friend Christina, whom you've all met before. So I have my friend SARA here today because she is the owner of Mellow CBD, and we're going to go over a little bit about CBD. Anyway, SARA, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into a pet business and what, pets mean to you?
All right. Well, my name is SARA. My love of pets started quite young. I would say around like 4, 5, 6, not sure. But I always had pets in the home. I was very fortunate that my parents allowed pets. It was always cats. I loved cats. But if you are a cat owner, you know that they don't always love you back. It wasn't until my teenage years that my parents adopted a dog, and I realized that I love dogs way more than cats.
Rude.
No offense. No offense.
Cat owners are going to come at you.
But dogs love you all the time. Like, they just bring so much joy. They're always happy to see you, always ready for snuggles. And then presently I have 2 beautiful German Shepherds whom I love so much, Lucy and Charlie. They are my children, my best friends. And if you are a dog owner, that doesn't sound crazy, that they're your children and your best friends. So yes, my love for animals started very young. I always cared so much about the welfare of animals. But it wasn't until a few years ago that I wanted to dive deeper into the pet product business, specifically CBD, because of a situation that happened to our family. So about 5, 6 years ago, we had this beautiful German Shepherd named Bear. He was roughly 2 years old at the time. And he developed seizures out of nowhere. And they started sporadically at first, and then they started to happen in clusters, which was very terrifying for our family. We had no idea what to do. It resulted in us bringing him to the vet and them telling us that he was diagnosed with canine idiopathic epilepsy, which, if you know, is a very defeating diagnosis because the cause is unknown. It's not curable, but it is treatable with medications. So they sent us home with phenobarbital, which is a very commonly used anticonvulsant medication, but it comes with some risks and side effects. So my parents were unsure about it. So we did some digging online to see if there's any other alternative measures we could do for Bear that were maybe more natural, didn't have as many negative side effects. And that's kind of where we came across CBD. So, we read CBD for dogs with seizures. What was this new alternative that was all natural? We, of course, knew about marijuana and cannabis and the therapeutic effects that it had on humans, but we never heard about CBD for pets. So, we did some research. There wasn't too much about it at the time, especially in Canada. So we weren't sure how to access this. And unfortunately, Bear succumbed to his diagnosis of seizures and had a cluster of them, which caused injury. And we sadly had to put him down. But we won't get sad on this podcast because this is what drove me to look further into CBD. And I was determined to create a...
You can't pet him here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Melvin.
I forgot to mention that we have 2 guests today.
I was just going to say, you didn't introduce them.
So Melvin, and you could show the camera, and
Mr. Maxwell.
They're here today. So if you hear some panting or barking,
I was going to say,
or
Melvin,
choking,
you're
apparently.
really...
I can't believe I choked him. I'm sorry.
No, he has trachea issues. So if you pet him where his neck is, he'll cough.
Shoot, we can't really see him in the camera.
No,
Oh, here, come back over here. Sorry. Okay, anyway.
Anyway,
Back to the story.
I was determined to create a CBD brand that was accessible in Canada, and I wanted to do it in honor of my German Shepherd bear, hence the name Mellow Bear.
now there is a lot of controversy around CBD, and I know that because for the brief few times that I have mentioned it in my videos, it has started a war in my comment section.
And Sarah loves controversy. It's her middle
Don't
name.
come at me, please.
Just kidding. She's gonna
So-
cry tonight.
Yeah.
For the people who really don't understand CBD, why don't you tell us a little bit about what exactly it is? Because it's not technically marijuana, right?
So when I started my CBD journey, I think that was also like a misconception for me. Like, why was CBD being lumped with marijuana? A lot of people were like, oh, you're doing a CBD business, like you're gonna make my dog high, and all these jokes and stuff like that. But I think the thing to know is that marijuana and CBD are cousins. They're not the same. CBD is a compound found in leaves and flowers of a hemp plant, which has no or little to no THC in it, whereas marijuana has very high doses of or percentages of THC in it, which has those psychoactive properties in it, whereas CBD has none of those. But the most important thing to know is that there is 0.3% or to none of THC in CBD.
So we talked a little bit about how CBD can help seizures, but CBD can help a wide variety of things. I give Ace, my little dog, my little old hairless thing, CBD every single morning.
Her pterodactyl looking thing.
Yes. But I give him a quarter of a syringe of CBD every single morning. So why don't we go through all of the different ailments or things that CBD can help your dog and cat as well, right? Dogs and cats.
Yeah, so I found it interesting because when I, again, started this journey, I thought that CBD could only help cats and dogs, but I have noticed that a lot of people use it for horses as well. And really, the key component to CBD working in the body is having an endocannabinoid system, which humans have as well, and most mammals do. An endocannabinoid system is basically essential for a lot of critical bodily functions. So, memory, appetite, sleep, mood, pain control, things like that. So, CBD basically enhances this system, which creates balance and regulates the body. So, it'll help things like anxiety, it reduces inflammation, pain, stimulates appetite, can help reduce seizure activity. Oh gosh, help with digestion, help with sleep.
Arthritis.
Yep, pain.
You already
Pain
said
and
it. Oh.
yeah. But yes, osteoarthritis in dogs, pain, injury, all sorts of things. Like, it really is an amazing supplement. The list feels endless. And like, the other thing to note about it is that it's all natural, which I feel like is just like a big bonus.
Do you have any client stories about your product that has,
Made you realize
Like,
this is why you do what you do.
yeah.
Like rewarding. Trust me, I have many times where I'm like, why did I get into this industry? Because it is very controversial. And I've had many moments where I've said to Christina, like, why did I choose this specific product to sell? Why didn't I choose like dog balls or like, like
Something easier. Yeah, I
something
guess.
easier to sell? But the reward comes with these stories that you're talking about. I think my favorite ones, I don't have any that come to mind because there have been many, but my favorite ones are with dogs who do have arthritis or have, slowed down because of age and like they are on their last years. And they are given medications to help their dogs with pain and inflammation. And, they're not seeing them move as much. And hearing that our CBD has given them their mobility back, seeing them act like a puppy again, like those stories, like make me want to cry, because it's so hard seeing your dog age.
Yeah.
So I feel like those client stories like really hit home to me, and propel me to keep doing what I'm doing with this brand. Because a lot of dogs that come to me are for anxiety or motion sickness in the car, but it's the dogs who are older and on their last lives that I really want to give them the support that they need to feel their best selves in their last years, like those ones get to me a lot. So
And CBD, so we talked about how CBD can help anxiety. So it's also really great for people whose dogs are afraid of fireworks or thunderstorms and stuff like that, because a lot of people have that struggle with their pets and they don't know what to do. So if you're watching, give CBD a try. Now, talking about how you mentioned, why did you get into this? Because it's so difficult. I don't think what people realize, and I didn't realize, is I wanted to sell SARA's product on my website and I can't because I can't ship it to the United States. So it's a pain. It's a pain that this product that really isn't marijuana, does not have any THC in it, is so highly regulated that you literally, I cannot ship it to people unless they're within Canada. And even within Canada, there's still some boundaries in Canada what provinces I can ship it to. So it's a pain.
yes, I'm not doing this for the money, let me tell you, because
There's no money in
there's
it,
no money in
sweetheart.
it. Yeah, again, like
She's still working her 9 to 5.
yeah, I thought I was gonna be able to quit. No. I do this strictly for the passion. It's not like I don't get like tons of money from this. It's all solely to help animals. And I do have a lot of restrictions that have caused me to contemplate giving up altogether. But again, it's the people who have had a lot of success with our products that keeps me going. So
Running an e-commerce business isn't easy. I know because I run one as well. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding how it all works. So what are the types of challenges you feel like you've entered into with an e-commerce business? Because you don't just sell locally, you also sell online.
when I initially started this business, I was quite naive and didn't really know what it meant to have a business or even online business. So our best friend Daniel, he knew how to do websites. So I was like, Daniel, like I'll pay you to do my website. I have my products ready. I have my photos done. Like, what else do you need from me? And he was like, I can do all the back end stuff. I just need a bank account and I can do all the shipping and everything like that. So I was just like, okay, this sounds so easy. Like, let's go for it. So starting an e-commerce business can be easy if you have the product photos and someone to help you make a website. But what I didn't realize is that it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a successful e-commerce business because there's so much back end to having an online business. Like, I feel like it's not as personable. So you really have to sell your product. You have to be the marketer. You have to learn how to do the shipping. You have to do the product photography.
Customer service.
Like, there's so much more to an e-commerce online business that I didn't realize went into it. And I feel like I suffered the first few years, especially with a CBD company, because a lot of platforms would not let me sell CBD on their websites. So I had to find a website platform that would allow me to do that, as well as a merchant of sale that was willing to take the risk with me having a CBD product. So yeah, it's not as easy as
Here
you
we
think
are.
it is. And again, like, success comes through promotion and marketing. Just because I have an online shop doesn't mean anyone's going to go to it. So I just feel like the challenge is
Putting yourself out there.
yeah, putting yourself, yes, which I feel like e-commerce is very like behind the scenes. You think you don't have to put yourself out there, but if you don't build those connections, like, nobody's gonna want to buy your product. So
Nobody's shopping.
nobody's shopping if they don't know who you are, what you stand for, if you're knowledgeable about what you're selling, if you're personable, have good customer service. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like a lot of hats you have to wear that I didn't realize, especially if you're not able to hire the people to do those things for you. So
Hiring the people isn't always sunshine and roses either.
What are you talking about?
yeah, employee right here.
What are you talking about, Willis? I always hit my deadlines.
I'm talking about
I'm just
e-commerce. I'm not talking about the editing
Yeah.
portion. When we started our e-commerce business, we were much like you, where we knew absolutely nothing. We hired Daniel to set everything up. We hired a drop shipping company, and we thought that'd be great. We wouldn't have to handle anything. All the shipping would be taken care of for us. And what we didn't realize is we there was a certain rate that we were paying per package, let's say, and we were actually losing a lot more than that because the drop shipper was charging us way more for shipping than what shipping actually costed.
Wow.
And we didn't know that. So we were losing so much money. We would lose packages, and we were told that those packages couldn't be recovered and all these types of things. And we just were like, oh, okay, like this is just what it is. And I remember Daniel saying to me, like, this price for shipping is really high, but we didn't know any better. And then we brought shipping in-house. We actually hired an employee. So technically we didn't hire an employee the first time. We hired a company
You
to work for us.
outsourced, yeah.
Outsourced, yeah. But we hired an employee to do the shipping for us, and we realized that we were being double charged for shipping. So it's another hurdle when you get into any type of business that you don't know the ins and outs about.
Trust no one.
Yeah, and you trust somebody. You really do. You trust somebody to do right by you. It can be
Everybody's looking out for themselves. You got to do your research.
yeah, that wasn't a good time. You live and you learn, right? What do you feel that entrepreneurship has taught you?
Oh my goodness, so much.
So many
I
things.
feel like I'm still learning. I feel like patience and like perseverance, because like I said, there's been many times I want to hang up the shoes and just quit and just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want my hands, what's it called? What's this?
Wipe your hands clear.
Wash my hands of this. But I'm lucky to have such a good support system. And other entrepreneurs in my life that showed me it's okay to fail. It's okay to have challenges, but it's worth it if you push through. And again, I've learned to wear all these hats along the way and have gotten, I feel like, more well-rounded with business. I still don't know a lot about business, but I've come very far with it. So I feel like, I don't know, if you want to open a business, I highly recommend it. I feel like you learn so much and it's very rewarding as long as you stick with it. So, yeah.
I think you're doing okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Christina.
You're doing a great job.
The next segment of this episode is going to be reading stories from other entrepreneurs, whether they're telling us stories or asking for advice. And then we will respond back to what,
Are they asking us them?
no, these are Reddit stories.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ready?
Ready for the Reddit.
All right. So this person says, my brother worked for me for about 5 years. He has been a good worker and a terrible employee. Here is what I mean. He is disrespectful to me and a couple of the other employees, but he does good work. Recently, I told him to do a task which was relatively simple. He refused to do the task, giving me an argument as to why it was a bad idea. I insisted he do it, and he gave me reasons as to why he wasn't going to do it. A couple of hours later, because he did not do the task, the company found itself in a very precarious situation. Of course, now, this has caused a problem in the family because I made the decision to fire him. I should note his wife is pregnant, so I'm struggling a bit with my decision. To note, he is not sorry at all and thinks that I am the asshole.
They're the asshole. I think is it the brother is the asshole? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have said you're fired. You're out.
Listen, I, again, have entrepreneurs in my life, and I feel like every single time their advice to me is don't work
Hire
with family.
Yep.
Because if something like this happens, I've seen it happen in family businesses. You just don't ever speak to each other anymore because of something so silly.
You have to have, and you have to have, I think, clear boundaries, clear, concise job responsibility, task, expectations.
Yeah.
But yes, I think in many of the situations I've witnessed in regards to hiring family, it can be tough. And also coming from a father who has his own business and hired on my brother, and my brother's now running it. We've always joked about me working there, but I don't actually know if we would work there well together because, I think I'd maybe get fired because we just would bump heads, but not because I would not be a good worker, but just maybe some disagreements on how to like run the business. So I think the lady in the story is right, and I think her brother is an a-hole.
I feel like it's a lot harder than firing an employee that's not related to you. Oftentimes you'll keep the family member on because you don't want to cause a rift And
Yeah.
then that's when even more like toxicity happens. So
And based on how the story is, I'm sure there were probably some fair warnings or discussions
choice
already
words. Yeah.
that have happened where situations have come up. So it would have been like 3 strikes and you're out. And this probably was not the third. It was maybe like the 10th strike.
I mean, I've been down this road, so I know what it feels like.
Oh, yes, you have.
I have definitely been down this road. I could not fire my family member. I would simply just be like, all right, I'm dealing with this for the rest of my life because I can't fire you. Like,
Yeah, and you're a kind person, so it's just hard. It like, yeah,
I'm not saying that he's the asshole for firing his brother. I'm just saying that I wouldn't have the confidence to fire my family member. However, it really comes down to who you're hiring. You know your family member. You do. You know them. You know whether they're competent. You know whether or not they're going to do their job. You like I have family members I can think of right now that I would never hire because I know for a fact that it would be me telling them what to do and them not doing it or not doing it on time or giving me excuses and then me losing my mind.
Yeah.
And then there are family members that I know I could definitely hire that would absolutely, you know, do exactly what I'm telling them to do.
Do you want to name those names of those
I
family?
don't. You know who you are.
No, I agree. And I bet you this person probably treats that person that way in normal life too, like not just a working life, like probably gives them
exactly.
sass, talks
Yes.
back. So like, why would
Yeah.
you want that in your work environment? I agree.
Be smart about who you hire. You know, my mother runs a family business with her parents and her brothers and has done so successfully for over 40 years. They've all gotten along. Even if they butt heads on certain topics, they always find a solution. Like they are a family that works amazing together. They're really lucky. So it is doable.
Yeah.
You just need to know who it is you're working with.
And you have to have
really do.
respect for each other.
Yeah.
Even friends, honestly, even friends.
Even
Yeah,
friends,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Very, very tough, I think, to do things with family and friends. And yeah, you have to have those expectations and those boundaries. And
And it can go both ways too, right? You can hire a family member that is so close with you and respects you so much and wants your business to succeed so much that they put in 150% because they want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
So it depends. But you know your friends, you know your family, you know who you can rely on and who you can't. And the people that you can't rely on, you probably shouldn't give them a job.
definitely not. Well, you know that.
You made a good choice with this one.
Me or you?
Ew.
Oh.
I was touching you.
Oh,
I knew I could hire Christina.
Yes.
I knew she'd meet her deadlines
it's because I'm a hard worker
That you are.
and I want to quit everything.
and work for me full time.
No, I just want to quit.
because, yeah.
I just want to quit everything and never
not
work.
just wanna,
and
like,
not work.
Go and frolic in
I
Europe
just want to frolic the world like everybody else.
with a bunch of dogs.
Yeah. Okay. Next story.
Number 2.
This one is coming from r/entrepreneur. I'm starting to win and my friends are getting toxic.
I'm starting to win.
Oh, like be successful?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Jealousy.
So I've been an entrepreneur for about a decade. I have a few hustles I've built up, multiple businesses, and something interesting has recently happened. I've been through a lot in life just trying to make it, but recently I've become more successful than I have ever been. A lot of my friends, in quotations, have turned on me, as in just becoming mean people towards me, rude, underestimating, negative, non-supportive. Funny thing is, I hardly share anything with people. I make a point to keep valuable information secret. It kind of sucks, but I also don't care, as I don't have time for nonsense or people who don't support me or share good vibes. I'm just curious if this is something others have experienced and how others have evolved past this.
Well, I think your friends suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Sarah
They're not
gets,
your friends.
if Sarah gets
not.
rich and loaded and is like, I'm gonna be like, girl, just take me on a trip, pay for my
100%
dinner.
I would. But you would support me and lift me up. It wouldn't be like I'm jealous of you. Like,
Well, same
and
to
tear me
you.
Down. Yeah.
I don't think I've experienced this.
No, you haven't experienced this, but that's what I mean. I would never.
No,
You're vouching, like, yeah.
but that's what I mean. Like, I can't relate to this person because with me coming into success or social media, I have not experienced somebody in my life acting that way towards me, truthfully. Like,
that's
I'm actually
good.
trying to think about it right now. People are jealous. Envy is a thing.
And you want to be around other successful people because then it pushes you and you're around that energy. And again, like this person's talking about the vibes, like you want to be around people that inspire you and encourage you. And that's one thing I would say too with our friend group is we always inspire and encourage one another. And we want everybody to like basically be crushing it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't experience this with friends technically or family, but I did experience it with clients.
Oh.
That I did experience.
Because they were sad you were no longer grooming their dogs.
Once I quit grooming, like understand, I never quit grooming. I'm still grooming every single day. But I was grooming regular clients, 15 of them, 5 days a week.
That was nuts.
For years, for over 10 years, for 11 years, I was doing that. Yeah, 11 years or so. And obviously I developed relationships with a lot of people, and a lot of people were really, really happy for me. I remember I received the most sweetest text message ever from a client that had actually moved away that saw me on the news. And he sent me this text message that was just like, it literally made me cry when I read it. So then you have those clients that were super, super supportive and so happy for my success. But then you also had other clients that started calling me, selfish and cocky, and I think I'm better than everybody else. And I'd
be like, no, I'm making money doing something else, so I can't do this. It'd be no different of me just getting a different job.
Yeah. It was just
a different world. It was social media was still kind of newer, I guess.
No,
not new, not new.
that.
Sorry, but newer being kind of that whole influencer thing, like really blew up when you blew up.
Did you find that it was the older generation?
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
Yes.
They're like probably like, what is this?
This one lady actually called another groomer to talk poorly about me and said that I was super like conceited now and all this stuff. And I just, it wasn't conceited. And I can say that honestly, I just did not have patience for bullshit anymore. So if a client was like dicking me around, the old me would have been like, oh, it's okay, no problem. Yeah, you're an hour late. It's fine. I'll take your dog. Or I was very much accommodating to everybody because I just wanted to make everyone happy.
I'm going to pick who I'm working on.
Correct.
And I'm going to work on the clients I like and the dogs that are easy. Yeah, because why would you not?
And that's when I started saying like, oh, like you didn't show up for your appointment. Like there's a fee now.
Oh,
you have to pay that fee. And it's like, what do you mean there's a fee? What are you talking about? And like, anyways, that's a long story. But
Melvin's like passing out right now. Melvin, you're so
like
cute.
This comment says, you've got to get better radar for people. When I started making decent money, all of my friends were happy for me. Of course, I downplayed how much I was making, but I've seen other people start making money and their friends turn on them pretty quickly. But pretty much
so odd.
I know. But pretty much 100% of the time, there's red flags like before.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Thankfully, I have a great judge of character. So do you.
For example, are they hanging out with you or are they competing with you?
Oh.
Do they appreciate what you have or do they always want more? Do they always try to one-up other people? Do they always need all of the attention? Like, there's so many things to think about.
Daniel.
I do need all the attention.
Okay, next. I think we have done enough on that one. We talked for a while on that one. This is also about firing somebody. But this is a little bit different.
Firing people.
I
don't care. I've never done it either. I think I'd feel too bad too.
This is coming from
I'd probably cry. I always cry. I always cry when I quit something because I feel bad.
Okay, the next one is coming from r/entrepreneur. This one starts, to all solo entrepreneurs, how do you stay motivated and not lose focus?
Oh my gosh.
You don't.
It's so hard.
Have you ever felt that you are both excited and not excited about your startups? I always have this mixed feeling. When I suddenly come up to the idea, I feel very excited and rushed into building it. As days pass by, I start to feel that my idea is not that big of a deal and I don't want to continue anymore. Recently, I developed a habit to read inspiring quotes every morning to keep myself on track. How do you guys keep yourself motivated and stay on track?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Sarah doesn't.
I'm not.
What?
She's
no, like
no. Sarah is good, but
I'm not a motivated person.
Yeah.
So again, that's one of my other challenges of starting a business on my own. I'm not motivated with any aspect of the business.
It also is hard because you are working.
Oh, I work full time.
Working full time.
Yes.
So having to work full time, and we talk about this all the time, having to wear these different hats and you have to be on for all these different hats. People don't realize, or I'm sure people do realize, but it's very mentally draining having to have it on all day at your work, and then you have to have your hat on at night for your business. So it is hard to be motivated. And then you want to also have a life and be like a good partner and be a good friend.
It's so
Lots of
true.
hats.
Yeah, I feel like I can't be fully creative because I'm worrying about all the other components of my business. So it makes me want to shut down, which I feel like a lot of people feel. My advice? Oh, gosh.
I would say I'm a big list lady. I don't have my own business, so this probably is so not relevant.
But you did.
True.
You did for years. You ran a nail business.
So, like under someone.
You ran it out of your house too.
Well, whatever. But I'm a big list person. I think lists are huge. I think timelines are also very helpful. I'm very visual, so I like to write things down and see it. And I think setting realistic timelines and expectations for yourself is really important with, being able to get stuff done, especially just myself. Working a full-time job, working for Vanessa. I also work for another lady now too. Just 'cause, why not? You just don't want to work all the time. So I think lists is a really important thing. And that's one thing I feel like I always tell you to do. And if you are set out, like if this is the night you're going to make your posts, like force yourself and make those posts and try and get creative. And even if it's, I've always said to you, like, even if you're copying someone's idea, like, I don't think that's bad. Like social media is a lot about, I don't want to say copying, but recreating something in your own.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a very unmotivated person. So this definitely hits home for me. I definitely have these like surges of motivation. And I feel like maybe acting on those moments is the key if you're an unmotivated person. I feel like waiting too long, the ideas are gone, motivation's gone, the creativity. So maybe for this person in particular, like acting on that motivated period.
And I think maybe knowing when you're best motivated, like you are good at night.
Oh my God.
You're a night owl. That's when you like thrive. You'll be up till like 1 a.m. doing stuff. I find if I actually set my alarm for like 6 a.m, I get up, I try and get a workout in because I'm really fit. I get a workout in. I haven't gone to the gym in a long time. But I find if I'm like ready to start my day and work at say 6:45, 7, I get so much done from that like 7 to 9 or like 7 to 9:30 versus like that afterwards. It's wild. I'm one of those, once you hit 3 o'clock, that afternoon slump, I'm like dead. I'm useless. Yeah. So if I can wake up early, for me, I find I can be very productive. Like sometimes I can bang like 2 videos out if I'm up, and there's times where I've gotten up at like 6 and I've just started working for 6:30 in the morning. So I think that's a big thing, is knowing when you're the most productive.
When are you the most productive?
I'm the same as
the morning.
Morning person.
Gosh,
Yeah,
I'm like sleeping by the time you're done.
But once you're up, you're like
ready.
You're ready to go. You're ready to start your day. And I'm like at nighttime, I just want to veg.
Dead.
Just want to veg. Want to watch some stupid TV.
Yeah, mine.
Don't want to think about it. Go to sleep.
Yeah. So the consensus is to find your motivated times and really act on those.
Yeah,
to be successful, I suppose.
Make some lists.
It's hard running a solo business.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But asking for help.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised, I think, as a solo entrepreneur or solo business owner, if you have good friends, if you have a good family, you'd be surprised at how many people probably want to help you make your business successful. So if you have these resources and these people able to assist you anyways, utilize them and ask for help.
For me, I basically started 2 businesses in my life. The first business was the regular pet grooming business. And the second business was Girl with the Dogs, social media. For me, it was just, there's no such thing as failure.
No, you're just going to.
I'm not going to fail. I remember telling my family that this is the business that I want to do, and none of them supported it.
Wow.
All of them thought it was stupid. All of them thought I was wasting my time. I need to go to school. None of them.
Talking about grooming dogs.
Yeah, the first business.
Yeah.
When I started grooming, they all discouraged me from it. And so that was the moment of clarity for me, where it was like, nope, I'm going to succeed in this. I'm going to prove you all wrong. And there's just I don't care how tired I am. I don't care how difficult this is. I don't care how bad of a day I had. I don't care how much of a jerk that client was. I'm not giving up on this. I'm going to succeed. So it is a mindset. too.
That's true. Yeah.
That you just need to say to yourself, no, I'm doing this. It's going to be successful. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how many downfalls, I go through. And then the same thing happened with Girl with the Dogs. When I started Girl with the Dogs, the reason why I called it Girl with the Dogs wasn't because of what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Girl with the Dogs because it was going to be about me and my dogs. That's it. It wasn't going to be about grooming.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I continued to push at this social media channel, like what content is getting views, and I'm making content of me and my dogs, I'm making content of my dogs. All of a sudden I started making content of grooming, and that's what took off. And that's when I was like, okay, this is where I'm focusing. I'm going to push this. I'm going to, get this out there. I'm going to do something with it. It was just a matter of it's going to happen. As soon as I started a TikTok account, it was with the intent of making money.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, why are you doing this? Why are you just stupid? TikTok is for like young people and they're dancing and like you don't dance. And like, why do you have this TikTok channel?
Dance.
And I said, because you can earn. Now, Canadians can't earn on TikTok. I
Yeah,
know
TikTok, you should fix that.
Mm-hmm.
right?
So
But
rude.
in my head, I was like, these stupid videos are going viral and people are making money off of this. Like, I can do this too. Well, this was a long one and we are running out of time. So now I have to pick. So I'm going to read 3
Okay.
and you guys are going to choose which one we're going to talk
I
about.
just have to listen. Okay.
So
We
I'm just
have
going
to
to read. I'm just going to read the titles.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Just the titles. The first title is "When Your Family Doesn't Understand Entrepreneurship."
I think all of ours do, so I don't know.
The second title is "Am I the Asshole for Firing a Client Who Became a Friend?" And the third one is "Family Has Been My Worst Customers."
That one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like that's so
That one?
true.
Maybe not my
Or-
family might get mad.
Maybe not that one because you have some personal ties to that. Maybe the second one.
The second one,
What?
firing a client who became a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
This one is coming from r/hairstylist. Hi, all. I'm just really in the dumps and need moral support. I know I made the right decision, so respectfully, I'm not asking what people would have done different. I'm just needing some encouragement. I've been doing hair in a new area for about 3 years. One of my first clients was a lady I became friends with. Definitely became more than just a client. I think that's why I am so sad about what has happened and also surprised by her response. After some work challenges that forced me to realize that I really needed to stick to what I specialize in, blondes, and stop offering other miscellaneous services, I knew that I was going to have to tell this friend or client this. I essentially told her the same thing as above, that I wouldn't be offering her particular service anymore. I told her I was so sad because I love having her, but I'm needing to make these business decisions. She certainly wasn't the only one being told this. I told her to let me know if she wanted me to send her to someone else that I could recommend, and I would be more than happy to. After that, I was met with a short response. So you're saying you don't want me as a client anymore. I feel that I made a point to say that wasn't what I was saying, that I love having her as a client, but that I'm having to make some important decisions for the sake of my business and frankly for my own mental health. I sent her a voice audio so she could hear my voice and reiterate everything I said. I was so sorry if it came across as personal and that it had nothing to do with that. She hasn't ever responded. In some way, I feel really bad, like I shouldn't have told her no. But I'm at a place in my life where I'm not letting other people dictate what is best for me, and especially what is best for my business. After this interaction, other memories came to mind. The fact that she was only available on Saturdays. The fact that I was always undercharging her as my friend, which is my fault, not hers. But that she would make little jabs about the price anyway. Well, I don't know how much longer I can spend this amount of money every 6 weeks. Beyond this, the last few times she's come in, she's just not been loving her hair, and I don't feel right continuing to take someone's money who isn't truly happy with their hair. In my head, it just means we're not a good fit, and not as friends, simply on a skill set to your hair basis. I think the most hurtful thing was that when my dog was really sick last year, I told her I needed to reschedule her appointment that day so I could be with him, and I wasn't sure he was going to make it through the weekend. She essentially threatened me and said she would just go to Sally's and get her grays covered if I didn't think I could squeeze her in that day. But you don't even have to blow dry my hair, is what she said. So like the pushover I did it. Missed 2 hours of the last remaining hours of my precious soul puppy's life. He was 3 and died of kidney failure over a very fast weekend.
No.
Would have been friends. Would have ended it there.
I am still devastated, and just how everything has gone, it makes me feel now that this relationship is not what I thought it was. Maybe this is an I am the asshole post. Maybe it's cautionary tale about crossing that friend-client boundary. Maybe I just needed to vent. Probably all of the above. I am proud of myself for saying what I needed to say, and in therapy, I'm working on people-pleasing and letting others simply be unhappy with me, especially when I'm honoring a personal boundary. But it's hard, it's not easy to fire a client, and it doesn't always feel empowering. You know you've probably hurt someone's feelings. But I trust myself and I am thankful I did what I did. But just kind of sucks in the moment. That human element is really hard to untangle from our industry. If you're having a hard time honoring your own boundaries, I feel that. But I'm going to take actions until the feelings follow.
That was long.
But
I can relate to that on so many ways.
My first comment is like, why are there people like this?
My second comment is, you're not going to die if you don't get your hair done.
It's worse when people freak out about you canceling their dog's appointment. Like, it's one thing if it's your own hair, because sometimes you're getting your hair done and you want it done for a specific event.
Yes.
And if you get that appointment canceled, it's disappointing. But when it's your pet,
Oh my God.
it's a whole other, like, are you for real?
That would have been the last straw.
Yeah, like, are you
I mean,
okay? I can relate to that on so many levels from when I used to be an esthetician.
Yeah, me too.
Like a lot. And actually specifically choosing to no longer be an esthetician and telling a best friend of mine at the time that I was no longer being an esthetician. And then literally, I think they responded to me, and then we just like stopped talking. And we were like best friends for what? How long? Like, I don't even know. Very long time. And we were best friends before I was an esthetician. So yeah, I can relate to that, and I think that's whacked.
I remember one specific story that I will never, ever forget for as long as I live, a client story. And this is like really like the people pleaser in me that is also working on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember this client had an appointment for her 2 dogs booked before Christmas on a Saturday. And I contacted them asking if I could reschedule them to the Sunday because the Friday night I had a Christmas party. So I didn't want to have to wake up super early. Her dogs were always booked like really, really early in the morning the next day. But I didn't tell her I had to reschedule. I just asked her if I could. If she told me I can't reschedule, then I would have just groomed the dogs on that Saturday morning. But she said, yes, I can move it to the Sunday. Perfect. On the Saturday, she texted me and told me that she could not make the Sunday appointment. So I said, no problem. It was unfortunate though, because that was the last day before Christmas or something like that. So I rebooked her for January. In January, I had this appointment booked, but there was a really horrible tragedy that happened in my family. And it happened that night, and the next day was her appointment in the morning. And I just couldn't bring myself to go to work the next day. There was people in my life that needed me to be there for them at that time. So I was like, no. So I contacted her to tell her that there's been a tragedy and I have to reschedule this appointment. And she never responded to me. And I didn't see her again for years. And I had been grooming her dog for years. So I was really bothered that I had told her that something really horrible happened. She didn't even bother to be like, I hope everything's okay. No problem. She canceled on me at the last appointment. So it's not like I canceled multiple times on her. So I was very, very, very upset about it. Years later, she contacts me for an appointment, and I should have not booked her. And I also would like to say that this is a client that always canceled last minute or no-showed their appointments constantly. So years later, she asked me for an appointment because I'm a people pleaser. So she contacts me for an appointment years later, and I book her in. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell her what that tragedy was that happened so that she can understand why I canceled her appointment. So I told her what the tragedy was. And I said, I'm really sorry that I was unable to groom your dogs that day. Like, this is what happened, and this is why I couldn't do it. Do you know that she never said anything back? She showed up for that damn appointment. Do you know she never even said, like, I'm so sorry to hear that that happened, or I completely understand? Nothing. She totally ignored that I said that. So later on in this business, I really got a freaking spine and started telling people what I really thought. And these are the types of clients as to why that happened. Because that's disgusting. Like, if I tell someone my dog is really sick, I have to cancel my appointment. Like, my dog is sick. I'm canceling the damn appointment.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yes, my dog.
I just don't understand how people like aren't, there's like people out there that, we talked about this all the time, aren't self-aware.
or empathetic. They don't have empathy.
Yeah, no empathy, aren't self-aware, the lack of respect. Like, we talk about this all the time. Like, how aren't people more like us? Like, don't you like consider, I'm not saying that we're perfect, but just considering someone else's feelings or
Like putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes, I just don't understand the lack of like the brain cell there. Like, I don't know.
Especially being in like a customer, and maybe that's the thing. We've all kind of worked in customer facing roles our whole life. So, you know, you want to act like the customer is always right, but at the same time, that's not always right.
No.
And that's not always the case. And it's okay to tell them. Like, when I used to do nails, I would same thing, have clients show up like so late, and then I'm like double booked, sweating my freaking ass off, not eating all day, can't even go to the washroom, trying to cram all these people in. People showing up to drop in for like an eyebrow. Oh, you don't have time? Okay, I'm just going to sit here and wait. Not realizing that I'm already like, swamped and busy and just so inconsiderate. And I get it. Like, trust me, I like getting I hate getting my hair done. I hate getting my hair done. I hate getting my nails done. I hate doing anything I have to sit there for. So I couldn't relate to that, but I try to make sure I'm not that person. Like, if my hairdresser has to cancel on me, if it's my fault that I didn't book them out 3 months before Christmas, that's my own fault for not booking them out 3 months before Christmas.
Yeah,
I have to deal with my gray hairs. Who cares? I have to deal with my bushy eyebrows. So I feel like I can totally relate to that. And even just friends in regards to pricing, I never charged my friends full price. I do basically all of them, I don't want to say for free, but like, I will not ask you for money unless you like give it to me, I guess.
You won't accept it.
Like, I don't really care. Like, you could come and I could not get paid for 3 times and I wouldn't even probably remember. Oh my gosh. But that's one thing I was always the worst at, and it was always some of the friends or like the closer clients that were just so rude and would take it, like, just expect you to drop everything for them because you're doing their nails, or just like such silly stuff. And that just makes you realize like what's, I guess, really important in life, and
who's important,
how small these people's worlds must be.
Well, this post, everything that she said about this lady, the lady sounds terrible.
Horrible.
So when she's sitting here, like, I feel so bad.
No.
You know, I really enjoy my friendship with her. She is not a friend.
She's not a friend. This lady's clearly just your friend because she wants her hair done, and she wants her hair done at a discounted price.
Correct.
And there's so many people out there that are like, literally have on file, oh, I need to be friends with a mechanic. I need to be friends with a hairdresser. I need to be friends with this person, this person, this person. But it's wild. Like, and even we have friends like our friend Marcy, who was on here. She's a designer. We don't expect her to do our stuff for free.
No.
Again, whether it's like you're trading services or like whatever it is, same thing. Like, I would never say, hey, Sarah, I want CBD, but I'm not paying for it. Like, never expect it free. Like, it's everybody's business. You have to respect people, and you have to respect their profession. That's wild.
Yeah. No friend of mine.
No, drop that person, move on with your life. I get it though. Like, I had to fire a whole bunch of clients. I had an employee that worked for me for, I want to say 3 years. Cody worked for me for 3 years. And he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Honestly, best employee I've ever had in the grooming industry, like as my grooming assistant, like just incredible. Not just a hard worker, but also just always in a good mood,
good vibe,
with a smile on his face. And like, that makes such a difference.
Huge.
When you're working with somebody, to have that vibe, because your whole day is just like, oh, okay, this dog's driving me crazy, but we're just gonna laugh.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna laugh. We're gonna make fun of this dog. We're gonna roast it the whole time and laugh about it, and just, you know, get past the day. When he quit, I hired new employees, and I knew that my new employees were never going to be able to manage a lot of the dogs that I groomed with Cody, because a lot of them were very, very difficult dogs. And I needed Cody's help. So you have to be very well trained. You have to have a good mindset. And the anxiety that came over me about having to work with these animals without him, having to train somebody else to learn how to deal with them. And also Cody was a very tall man. So he was a lot stronger than I was. So if I needed help holding a dog, right, he was able to help me. So when he quit, I just said to myself, instead of me having a mental breakdown over having to train these girls how to deal with these animals, instead of me looking at my books every single day and literally panicking because that specific dog's on the book, and I have to hope that not only that they will be able to physically manage the dog, but mentally be able to handle the dog, because I don't want people getting stressed or angry with the dogs that we're working on, because that just makes everything worse, especially for the dog, right? So I need somebody that has that personality like Cody, where it's like, hey, this dog's driving me crazy, but I'm going to start singing and, call them every name in the book as a joke. And then we'll just start laughing, and then that will just make us feel better, and then it won't be so difficult. So I thought to myself, for the sake of those dogs and my mental sanity, I have to fire them and move on and only take dogs that are easier to deal with. Also for the sake of my employees, because they don't deserve to be working with such difficult dogs, where Cody had years and years and years and years and years of experience working with difficult animals, because he was a vet tech and then he worked in the show dog world and now he's a vet tech again. So he had those skills, right? And that patience. So yes, it wasn't personal, but a lot of those clients took it personally. And it really was written very clearly. I don't have the physical capability or the mental ability to be able to deal with the difficult level that your dog is on. And it's better for them to go to somebody who can specialize in this and give them a better experience. But people don't take that well. No. Some people did. Some people completely understood and they respected my decision.
Some people aren't as self-aware.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks their dog. Everybody thinks their kids. Everybody thinks they are perfect.
But you're looking out for the safety of their dog as well.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have like a liability on your hands, or you don't want to be liable.
And I work with difficult dogs now, but I don't think a lot of people realize that it's just me and the dog, and then that's it. I'm done for the day. I don't have to worry about another dog coming in. I don't have to stress out about the timing that I'm spending on the dog. I can spend the whole day with the dog if I want, which is a very unique experience. And it is rewarding to be able to do that and have that time. And now I don't get stressed, because I'm like, oh, it's just me and this dog today. And even if he is a menace to society the entire time I'm working on
8 hours.
I got all the time I need. I can take all the breaks. I can order coffee. We can go outside, go for a pee. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Before, when I had 15 dogs a day, there's no time for that. Right?
You're on it.
I don't even know how you were still walking at that point.
Sure was it?
I recently got an MRI done, and it's done some wear and tear on my spine.
No.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you those results.
No, you didn't.
I have to know about that.
I can tell the results. I don't care. This is the reality of the grooming world. I have a bulging disc. I have a herniated disc. And I have bone spurs on my spine.
And you're sitting here like that?
I'm not in pain right now, but when I do certain things, I can feel it. And that's why the past 2 times I've gone to the gym and my back hurt really, really bad. There was one time where I seriously could not get out of bed.
The motion you did?
Something, but it that's why I'm having issues. So yeah, grooming will really mess up your body. So when your groomer stops grooming your 150-pound dog, like there's reasons for it. It's not because we don't want to. I'm still going to groom 150-pound dogs, but
you need to do maintenance in between then, physio and all that stuff.
Yes. And again, I'm only doing one a day.
Yeah.
That's it for today's episode, guys, because we are running out of time and the batteries are dying on these cameras. So thank you guys so much for watching. Sarah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at mellowbear.inc, on Facebook at mellowbearinc, or on our website, www.mellowbear.ca.
And don't forget the Lucy account.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you want to check out Charlie and Lucy and my parents' 2 German Shepherds, you can follow us on at Get Lucy Goosey.
And her parents' German Shepherds are Zeus and Maya, who have been on my channel multiple times, the long-haired shepherds, so you guys will definitely recognize them.
They're so cute.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Melvin and Maxwell.
And I will see you next time on another episode of Talk Your Tail Off.
Talk your tail off.